Hey friends, Rabbi Jenny Solomon here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm a rabbi at Beth Meyer Synagogue. So I am coming out of a 2-day workshop with the Racial Equity Institute, REI, which does all kinds of training throughout all sorts of systems, education, corporate America. And I am feeling all kinds of things for anyone who has done the work of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, learning about the ways in which we live in a racialized society and all of the systemic oppression and advantage that are at work. It's quite eye-opening still, heart-opening, and feeling all kinds of feelings. So I want to make a connection to how I'm feeling in this moment and this week's Torah portion, and I hope that it resonates for you in some way. So we're reading this week in the Torah the story of Noah. And I know it's easy to make this story kind of pediatric about an ark and learning about animals 2 by 2. But there's so much deeper going on, of course. And even just the flood itself. I know for myself that flood is often a flood of worry, of fear, of overwhelm in all kinds of ways, especially when I think about the problems that plague our society, our world, and that sense of fear and overwhelm about how I might play my part. Then I came into it. So this is what I want to suggest, what I'm feeling in the moment. You know, when I feel fear, there's often a tendency in my body to actually lean forward. I noticed this as I was participating in this workshop over the last 2 days. Like my neck was leaning in. I was both leaning in to hear and engage with the material, but it was also kind of, I think, a fear response. And there was kind of a tightness. And what I'm thinking about in this moment is really leaning back and just taking a moment, just a beat, to feel in my body all these things, to allow all of these ideas, this awareness, this experience to just kind of reverberate in my body. One of the things that the trainers, really drove home at the end of our experience together is that the work of justice and the work of dismantling racism is not something that one person can do. And that the question is really not about what we're going to go do, but who do we want to be? Who do we want to be? And that's actually something that's not dependent upon systems and other people necessarily. It's really something that we can cultivate within ourselves. And I know that something that I want to be is the kind of person who can lean back and who has the capacity, like the ark, to float, to have a kind of buoyancy and internal built-in faithfulness. I was reminding folks in various settings that I participated in on Sunday at a brunch and Monday at Minyan, that one of the things that makes the ark distinctive from your average boat is that there's no rudder, there's no motor, that really the boat kind of floats on faith. And also that the ark has a tzohar, some kind of window, some kind of opening that helps us remember that our experience of faith and floating must be connected to the world around us, that we can't sort of isolate ourselves on the ark forever, or at all for that matter, that we must stay connected to the world around us, that our faith ought to inform how we act in the world, and what is going on in the world ought to inform our faith. And so, again, in this moment, I think it's fair to say that there is a time and place to lean back, not to become complacent or to disengage or disassociate with the things that are calling our attention and our response. But for taking a moment to really feel and consider, again, who we want to be in the world. And that's something that requires more than a minute to consider. And I'm really grateful for the reminder. All right, everyone. Peace. Shalom.